So trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. And before deciding to invest in the foreign exchange market, you should carefully consider all of your investment objectives, your level of experience, and your risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. So this is the Hawkeye room, and we're going to go over some strategies today. This live trading room is exclusively for educational purposes only. There's no financial advice or recommendations that will be provided. Any trade that may be taken during this live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and do not trade any money that you cannot afford to lose. Before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. So we're gonna go till about 10 o'clock, 10:30. We'll see how it goes, and let's go take a look at some charts. Here we go. So the first thing that we did today is we have access to a tool that we provide to the members who come into this room. And the tool is our RCS tool. It's our relative currency strength. And it shows us basically what currency strength on what time is stronger against the other. So what we did first off is we looked at the 30-minute and the 15 and the 5, and we looked for currencies that had a 7 and a 0. That means one is very, very strong and the other one is very, very weak. So what's happening is generally we go over wedges and we go over AIRIS, but right now we haven't received an AIRIS wedge alert in quite some time. So we're going to go and find some potential trades that we could maybe take advantage of. So I haven't looked at this chart yet. This is the pound Swiss, a currency pair that I actually don't trade. So what we'll do is we'll keep it simple. We'll just take a trend line. We'll go from a swing low or a pivot low or whatever you want to call it. You can call it multiple things: swing low, pivot low, and draw a trend line. Now, reality is this trend line is going to be breached already because this looks like this is going to be breaking to the downside. So let's do something. Let's start big. Let's start big first. Hold on. We're going to start. I wanted to try something first. We'll go big and then we'll go small for after. So here we got that same breach of the trend line, even though we use the different angle or a different swing low. So the only reason that I would keep this this wedge here, this is actually a pretty substantial wedge, and this is one that would be bigger than what AIRIS would generate. But you got to bounce here, you got to bounce here. This is a breach, of course. So we're trying to see, because the British was the first currency pair in here, and that means it has weakness because the Swiss is the strongest currency. You see the strength of 7 and then 0 for the pound, which means that we're looking for this to go short, which this confirms that. So right now, it's kind of too late for myself to consider taking an entry on this. But maybe we can go down to a different time frame and see if we can make something happen. I'm not gonna play with the 1 minute today. I know a lot of us enjoy the 5 minute. So this is the same wedge that we had, just at a lower time frame. The lower the time frame, the more candles you end up getting. Oh, I see the chat. Have
Christine's in the room.
Oh, Christine's here. Good morning. Leslie's here as well.
I'll go move her over.
Yes. All right. So, first things first. Gonna spread these candles out a little bit, see if we can find a potential trade. If we do get a bounce off of this line, I think it would be a pretty decent entry, because that's what the RCS says, that right now the Swiss is the strongest currency out of all the 7 major currencies, and the pound would be the weakest one. So I don't want to go too deep into wedges, but we can go back and see just where these wedge breakouts were. You see you had one bounce, third bounce on a trend line, and then it broke down. So that we weren't trading at this time. This was before a little bit before our session. So we weren't even looking at this currency pair, actually. Let's see something. So generally you want your swing high and your swing low. That's a lot of wicks. Wouldn't you say, Al? There's quite a few wicks there. But here's another little wedge. And what we know about wedges is that once it breaks one of those trend lines, it has a 75% chance to go the distance from the top line to the bottom line. So if I take this and put that there, you can see that it actually would have hit that target. It's very interesting. It's not just random. And it'll do the same thing here. This may be hard to see, but that's the bottom of the trend line. That's the top of the trend line. And you can put your stick there. And that would be an interesting take profit. You see how it hits it and then it kind of pulls back a little bit? This move here, if you, this is about, you could potentially make 35 pips on that single run down. And here you're looking at about 25 pips or so. So now we're just looking, right? We've got break down. So we went from a really big wedge, and then we took it down to a smaller wedge. So we're just looking for a bottom to form, because we may have.
Looks like this thing still has some room to the downside.
Yeah, that's just from what I'm seeing here.
The fact it broke the bottom. In fact, it broke the bottom of that big wedge that you drew. That might be a significant breakout of that whole area.
Yeah, and I don't know how much I really like that. Let me try something first. I'm gonna go back to my 30-minute chart really quickly, because I think I saw something that I like better. And sometimes you draw things and then you take another look back and you might like something better, like this. And then you drop this down here. There. This is what I like better. And I'll explain to you exactly why I like this better and why this is a much more significant drop. And I don't want to go too fast, but This wedge is good. This is a good wedge. You got a bounce, a bounce, a bounce, a bounce, a bounce. It comes back in and it rejects. So now it would be valid to draw the stick from here. This would potentially be a valid target because this is a very nice trend line, and this would be in alignment with what we were looking at. You see this 1.2100, that's a solid number. Well, that formed a pretty strong point where price didn't want to go through it.
Right now, as I look to the left of that screen, you can see where that first move up, strong move up, right about where your cursor is, just a little bit to the left, right?
Right here.
No, one more to the left over. Keep going, right there. That strong, that series of green candles, that's a strong rejection of that area. So I would be looking at that being the target from where this thing broke the bottom of that wedge.
So you're saying right here.
Yeah, that'd be the target. You see, just go up just a little bit to where there's a rally right there. There's that basing right there. I'd be looking at that be the next target. Now that I broke that trend line, I could see that as being a reasonable target zone.
Yeah, you're looking at 40 pips, guys.
Yeah.
You're looking at 40 pips.
But I'd be waiting for a pullback before I were to take that short.
Agreed. Because right now you're too deep in. So if you actually enter this trade, you're going to have to put your stop loss inside the wedge minimally on the other side of that. So it's a 1-to-1 risk to reward. I don't really like using that big of a stop loss. I need it to pull back more. So in order to catch a nice pullback, I think we're going to go to the 5-minute just for that. We're going to see if we can do this just by using wedges and trend lines, because a lot of people make fun of trend lines and wedges. But your retracement is going to be once it breaks this trend line and comes up, then that would be potentially a good entry. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. This stick is a little crooked there. So this could be a potential target, and I can write on it. And this is why I really enjoy Trading View, because there's so much flexibility in what you can do, and it's really top notch. Potential target. So. Oh, it's a big box. Anyway, so we're just looking, right? I got a little something here. I'm not liking it more than anything else. Actually, I do like this, and I think you know why. Is because you see how it bounced here, it respected that, it bounced here, and it bounced here. If it does break this wedge on the downside, I will take this trade.
Furthermore, I'd be looking to see a way for it to bounce the upper part of that trend, that channel. When it gets up when it bounces to the top of that upper trend line, that'd be a good area to maybe take it short.
It would. So there would. I
wouldn't try and take it right now. I'd wait for it to bounce. So get a little bit of a bounce off of that.
You think it's going to bounce there?
I think I just have to wait for it to bounce.
Okay, I understand.
Because right now you're trying to catch a falling knife, but you need to get a little bit of a pullback to see where to have to reject the upper trend line. Now, if it breaks the upper trend line, then that means that move could be starting to have some weakness.
Oh yes, I like that. Let's go see something. So I'm going to keep the RCS over here. I'm gonna open up another chart. So here's that break. I honestly don't know if it's gonna come. Because we don't know, right? We can only do the best we can with what we see at the time.
We're not fortune tellers.
No. And if we get to the point where we think we are, then I think we're in some danger zone.
Let me see what I can come on. Let me take a look at one of my charts and see what I got here.
Yeah. I'm always.
I've apologized. I'm on my laptop remote today, and I don't have as quite the flexibility I do when I'm at home with my multiple screen desktop.
So let's go check GBP. Oh yeah, Al, I think it's got a lot of room to the bottom.
And right now, I'll be looking at a target zone of about 1.19 something here.
6 something? Oh yeah, that's just down there. That's plenty of pips. That's plenty of pips.
I need to get a different chart up here. Hang on, let me.
You'll see. Let's throw one more indicator on here. How about that? Not to add, but this one we actually give out to the people who join our room. So if you do have TradingView and you do not have access to this indicator yet, just let us know in the chat and we will get that to you. We will approve you for that. Actually, you have to do some approvals and not too long anyway. Just a second here. Multiple moving averages. So I'm just going to throw some moving averages on here just so we can see. So we got 3 moving averages that we use. We like to use 5, 13, and 62. Works on all time frames. Generally really good. You see here, the purple one is the 5-minute 62. The magic of the 62 is that price likes to reject it or bounce on it. So right here, it actually rejected it and then it went down. Here, there was no moving average cross. The moving average cross was over here at the beginning of the run. So from this point onward, we're only looking for sells. We are not looking for any type of buys until this moving average crosses underneath the other one. You see how here it crossed and now we're looking for buys until it crosses and then we're looking for sells. And that's probably as far as I feel comfortable going with the moving averages, because that might be.
It looks like we're getting a bounce off the blue 15-minute fib line at 1.1970.
Okay, so yes, and that reminds me, we've got another indicator that we do provide to the people who join our room, students, whatnot. And it was called, hold on.
Fibonacci price plotter.
Fibonacci price plotter. Where is it? FPRP.
Price range plotter.
Oh, I don't.
There's one down.
Oh yeah, right there. JSF trader. All right. And we are gonna do 2-minute, right, for the 5-minute.
I usually like doing the 5 on the 5-minute chart, the 2-minute on the 1 minute, and 15-minute on the. I like starting with the 15-minute because the 15-minute, if you get a blue 15-minute line, which is where we are right now, that's a real strong marker on the other 3 time frames, the 5 and the 2.
Interesting. So Al, you see this nice blue line here. So you're saying if price breaks that, there's a high chance that it could go down to that next blue line down there?
Well, that or I expect it to bounce off of that to retest that upper trend line that we were talking about earlier. I think you'll get a bounce off that blue line because it's a 15-minute line. It's a strong line.
Okay.
And if we can break through that.
Let's let's get rid of some lines. Let's just put this one here as a blue.
Mm-hmm.
Settings, blue. We're going to call it, we're just going to put it blue. Whatever. There we go. It's good enough for me. And then we're going to take this one and we're going to overlay it here just so we have an idea. And then we're going to turn this off. Because that was a little too much. We already got the confirmation that we're looking for sells based on the moving averages. So we can turn that one off too.
So you're basically looking for pullbacks. And actually, it did break that bottom trend line that you have there. So if it comes back and retests the tags there, that might be the continuation factor. Then you'd want your stop on the other side of that upper trend line.
Yeah.
That one.
That's still a big stop, like, because we're not used to trading the pound Swiss. The pound Swiss, it likes to move. Anything with a pound pair right now, with all the unknowns of Brexit and the macroeconomical state of the world, the pound loves to move right now. So these are actually, there's 10 pips between this line and this line. And just for reference, when we're generally entering a trade, we're looking for between 7 to 15, sometimes 20 pip stop loss, depending on the currency pair we're trading. But we would want to enter potentially on a bounce here or something. See it rejected here, and that's a pretty interesting wick. I don't do a lot of stuff with candle patterns and formations. I think there's something happening there. We got 1 minute left on this candle, and then it will close. So I'm interested to see how big of a wick it's going to leave once it finally closes. That's pretty close. What do we have here? We have 3 pips. We have 3 pips to the line. And if I wanted to be very specific, I would say that this is okay. Let's go do some paper
I think
trading.
you could have a 3 pip stop loss to the bottom of the candle. If that candle closes red, I think you'd be good to take a short on that.
I believe so. And I do believe, because of this big candle on the downside, we could probably put our stop. It depending on how you feel, but if you have a stop just up here on top of this previous candle or around here,
how big of a stop is it to the top of the trend line?
You'd actually put it there?
No, the next trend line up.
Oh, this one up here?
Yeah,
give it a little more breathing room, right? So
I would have the stop there. I would not necessarily wait for it to take that stop out, but I would keep it out of harm's way. I would keep it out of the reach trace back into the middle of that wedge.
That is actually really good. So if we're looking for, if our stop's going to be,
that's only what that's about a 24 pip stop from the top of the
24 from the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're looking at
you're looking.
What's our target there?
Target I put was 1909.
1909 and also entry of 19. That's a big move. That's, I guess,
it's a very big move, Al. But if it bounces here, that's where I see it going.
Right.
Because it's either gonna, because if it would have went back into the wedge, I think it would have gone by now. Because this was the deciding factor. This big candle here on the 5 minute chart. That was telling me that it's probably not going to come back up and retest that wedge again. It could. So if someone wanted to be very conservative, you're going to lose profit, right? You're not going from 3 to 1 risk reward ratio anymore, or 1 to 3, whatever you want to call it. You'd be 1 to 1.5. You'd have to put it up here.
And you're still showing lots of strength on our RCS tool, we're still showing lots of strength to the downside with the strength to the Swiss. So
Yeah,
I would not want to take this thing.
significant.
I would not want to take this thing long under any circumstances, and
Oh,
I'd be
no.
waiting for a little pullback to take it short because I think you have enough momentum to keep it coming down.
I think so as well. I think once this candle's done, once this next 5-minute candle is done, if we get another red candle, then we could potentially take this to the downside. You see how we got your candle here, and then you got your pullback.
This looks like one of those things where if you put a sell stop right at the bottom of that 5-minute candle that's now green, and you could take that and just do a sell stop on that.
Yeah,
Right
so
about
if
the
it
19,
goes down there.
at the 1975. Now, if it does go against you, that way you'd be able to get maybe a little bit better entry.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for that. If it does bounce on this trend line, that's a very strong confirmation. Very, very strong. Because here we have support.
That got broken.
It broke. Now, if it comes up here and becomes resistance, it's game over, guys. And that's why I like this big trend line. And this is a pretty valid trend line because there's nothing that's invalidating it. I'm not cutting through any wicks or anything, any candle bodies here. I'm not counting this as a break of a violation of that wedge because it's probably going to come up and tag that trend line. Watch it happen. The more it comes back, the better our entry is going to be, because that means the more pips you can put in the bank. Let me go check something. So we're not pulling back yet. So this is on demo. I'm going to show you guys the demo trade setup or whatnot. Order panel, there it is. All right, so that's that green. So let's see if it bounces on that trend line. This will be interesting. Now we're just waiting. The trap is set, right? Like we've got the trap. We're waiting for price to come to us and interact in the way that we expect it to. If it doesn't interact the way that we expect it to, then it's not a trade, and we just don't take it. You know, the hunter that sets his traps, he only does the same thing over and over and over again. Every once in a while he catches what he wants, but he doesn't stress about it when he doesn't catch what he wants. He just sets up another trap and waits for it. So we're just sitting here waiting. And hey, that's as good as she gets. That's nice. That's a nice little bounce. Now let's leave a wick. So we want a wick to form. We do not want that candle to close inside of this manually drawn trend line. We still have 3 minutes on that candle. But we'll see how accurate these trend lines are. I'm in quite a few Forex groups, and a lot of people make fun of trend lines, but I don't think they've ever seen trend lines work like this before. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to draw trend lines. They think you can just put it anywhere they want. They can break wicks and they can break candle bodies. You can't do that. This will be interesting, Al. It'll be interesting to see what it's going to do here.
It's a pretty strong low rejection. It's a nice little rejection off of that blue fib line.
Yep, it is. I like it. Well, that's kind of what you want, right? You want it to interact with that line. If it didn't interact with the line, then you'd be like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's just potentially support and resistance. Maybe there's nothing to it.
And right now, off that nice big green or that nice big red candle, that 5-minute candle, right now it's pulled back 68%, 61.8% of that big candle is pulled back, which is a very normal pullback off of a big move down.
Absolutely, especially for a continuation, right?
Let's see, we still have 2 more minutes and a half yet to go on that 5-minute candle.
Yep, a little bit of time. I honestly don't think it will break out of there. So if I have just to be conservative, okay, say I put a 20 pip stop loss. Okay, so this is the size of my account. We'll do a little bit of position sizing. I got $1,200 in there. Well, let's do 2%. There, 2%. Here's my stop loss. Drop it down to 20. You see the difference in units? So if I put 25, that decreases the amount of units that I can put in to the trade, which means that my pips are worth less. The pips on this trade is worth 20% more, 25% more. Every pip that this one moves, we're going to go $1.20 in our favor. And I'm only risking 2%. The total risk in the trade is $24. So if it does fail, then not a big deal. So here's that 5-minute candle. Here's that red. We need a pullback out of there. Let's see. I will let you, well, you'll see if I enter. Of course, we're going to do sell, right? We're not going to do buy because of all the downward pressure and everything. This is just a trade setup that we did. We used wedges. We used some of the things that we've been working on over the last couple months. So we're back into the wedge. Could get a bounce off this trend line. That would be an even better entry. Because that would be the third hit on this trend line. You got 1, 2. If it bounces here, that's the third hit on a trend line. I will be in that trade short.
Looks like it's coming up to retest that 5-minute 13 moving average.
Yep, that's true. And that point is at
1994.
1994. 1994, right here. Look at that. That ends up being pretty close to that trend line. And this was a 5-minute, was it, Al?
That was the 5-minute. Yeah, that was the one, the 5-minute.
Yeah, so we'll just make it purple. How about that? And this one, we'll give it a better
And
blue.
we're getting a strong rejection off the 1991 area.
Right. Oh, look at that. Boom. That's pretty good. Let's give her a swing. I just need that candle to close on the outside. I got 2 minutes. 5-minute candle close on the outside of the wedge. It's good for me. Let's go check. Got a minute 32 left on this candle. Yeah, I don't think that's coming back up. But here, because our target is so far down, I'm not overly concerned. 1908. Got another 52 seconds. I don't like that candle. What about you, Al?
Hang on, let me take a look at that. I'm trying to check my chart here.
I don't like that candle.
Let's see. Right now, this is pretty much a neutral candle.
Mm-hmm.
It's got wicks
I think
on
we're
both
good
ends. Here. I still think we're good for a short. I would probably wait until I get a little bit more. Let's see,
Decisive.
Range. Yes,
Kind of decisive.
right now it's sort of range bound right now.
Yeah. Oh well, I took a swing at the bat there. The reason I entered is because it broke in, and now it's the next candle that formed was on the outside of this wedge. So I don't know. We'll see. Watch it. That comes against me pretty good. But our stop's way up here, out of harm's way.
Yeah, I think if it were to close above that purple line that you have, if you got to close above that, then I'd be looking at getting out. But right now, I think
would
it's
agree.
A good short. I think it's
Absolutely.
A good short.
Yeah. So that's our what we like to call our emergency stop loss, and that we'd use that for position sizing and whatnot. And if for any reason the market goes crazy and like a big wick out of nowhere, 20 pip wick or something, that can happen. I've seen it happen. A 20 pip wick on a 1 minute chart. The bank hits the money button and forces the currency in one direction. Well, you need to have a stop loss. You need to know what you're risking. And in this case, it's 2% of the trading account.
And really, do we ever get fully stopped out? Oftentimes we'll set our stop at 10, 12, 15 pips out of harm's way.
Yeah.
But normally it'll give us an indication to abandon the trade way before that. But we want to keep our stops far enough away so the brokers don't just go up and grab it. So that's why we usually keep a little bit out, a little bit further away. But we're also looking at the price action to see if it crosses a certain line and closes at a certain line in the sand. In this case, we're looking at that 5 minute 13 moving average, which should give us a nice little trend line to follow on this way all the way down. As long as it doesn't break and close above that, we should still be able to stay in a short position on this.
For sure. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Like I said, we just often go for 7 to 10 pips. If you can get a 2% the size of your account, if you're taking the trade that would risk 2%, and you can get a 5 pips a day on 2% of your account, that's a very as it keeps on doubling and compounding. It's a very significant increase into your net worth on your account size.
It's substantial, and it's all about consistency. If you can do it with $100 account, that's the exact same move that you need on $1,000 account and a $10,000 account. But you need to know how to take it on the you need to know what you're doing, right? You need to have that knowledge of system performance. You need to know what your percentages are on what you're trading.
The key to being a successful trader is having consistency. You're going to have losses, and you can even have a 55 to 45 win-loss ratio and still make money if you're consistent and you can keep your stops small and keep your targets bigger. But I've seen people that have 90% win rates that still lose money because they take the big losses, but they don't, and they take really small profits. So a 2-pip profit is still a 2-pip profit, still goes to the win side. But if your 2-pip profits are overshadowed by 20-pip stops all the time, you're still going to end up losing money, even though you may.
That means you need to win 10.
You need 10 in order just to break even.
Yeah,
so we're trying to do it the other way. We give ourselves enough wiggle room so that the brokers don't take the stops, but it's also enough to where you can exit the trade before that time. You want to exit on your terms, not on the broker's terms.
Yeah. I heard in one of the groups there that I was following, and I sent one of the guys a message. I'm like, how can you give people this kind of advice? Never use a stop loss. Oh, great traders never use stop losses. Stop losses are for losers. Well, yeah, well, tell that to the multiple 7-figure traders that I know that all use stop losses. You know what I mean? Because if you don't use a stop loss, then how can you position size? You're risking 100% of your trading account on one position. You might get it right. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll get it right 5 out of 5 times. But that 6th time, it comes against you. What are you going to do? I'm not liking the way that it's acting right here, Al.
Well, it says that it had a nice move down. I mean, right now it's still in the game. The thing is, right now the markets, even though we're in a new year, the first week of a new year, we have the non-farm payroll coming out on Friday, which is still a few days away. But I don't think you're going to see I think you'll see a lot of the same type of movement this week as you did last week. And you probably won't start seeing bigger moves until somewhere around the 2nd week of January.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Obviously there are still 5, 10, 15, 20 pip moves in the day. It just takes a little bit longer sometimes for them to develop.
Absolutely. The pound, the GBP pairs tend to move pretty nicely most of the time. So they you see how the pound pound Swiss right now. It's already down 0.9% for the day. But you look at
scroll back and scroll back and see where 3 o'clock this morning was. That's where the London session opened. Where's 3 o'clock?
right here. Oh, look at that daily high.
Yeah, it was the overnight high, and then right after the London opened, it's at 3 o'clock. And then where did the first move spike down occur? What time was that?
Well, we're starting to drop at 420, and then we have this failure to breach at 750.
No, it was
So
just
here-
before we got started. No, it was right before we got started.
Right
this morning.
before we got started, it tried to come up and retest, but it failed. So this is your downtrend. Here's your W. So you got up, down, up, down. Now we're forming a wedge. There's a wedge here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new wedge. So
It's still a strength to the downside.
it sure does. So this is actually right now. I don't. Gonna drop those two lines. Or I'm just exploring. Nothing concrete. I just want to see what's gonna happen here. I want to see if it's gonna reject there. Getting pretty close to the 9 o'clock hour, Al. Are you surprised that it's going eastbound?
Just not surprising at all. Yeah, 9
just
o'clock is usually
before the session open, right?
Yep. It's basically it's just spacing right now inside. It's going sideways inside that range between the that lowest point and that purple line that we have there.
Where's our 30-minute 50?
Is that Christine? I couldn't hardly hear you there, Christine.
Yeah, I couldn't hear nothing actually.
Yes, it's me. It's me. I don't
It was very low. It's like you're in the bottom of a cave.
Life is really crummy today.
That's
is.
better. That's
That's
better.
better.
Okay. My question was, where is your 30-minute 62?
Oh, the 62? Yeah. Let's go see.
I just want to see how far of a difference we're from there.
It's up here.
Okay. No man's land.
Yeah, it's far, which is a good sign, which means there's still some gas to the downside.
That's your 30-minute up there? Or is that your 15?
No, I switched it.
Oh, you switched it on me? Okay.
Yeah,
You changed colors on us, Al.
No, I just didn't change the colors. I took my 30-minute, my 5-minute, and I made it my 30.
Oh.
See, look. You can make it your 4-hour if you want. Oh, look at that. 4 hours right there.
It bounced off the 4-hour?
Oh, yeah. The 4-hour 62.
Oh, not interesting.
Yeah. But I don't. It's a 30-minute 62. That's the middle of the road. So. Here's the 15. This is why we love TradingView. So powerful. I I tried trading with MetaTrader 4, like doing my chart setups on MetaTrader 4. I just couldn't.
Gets frustrating after you're on TradingView
Oh,
for
it's
so long.
such a nightmare.
Just looking at the RCS, and the British pound is pretty strong.
Yep.
It's actually 7. It's the top on the 1 hour and the 15. And the Swiss is 1 and 1 on both.
What did it what was that beep? Was that my trade or was that someone else's trade?
Oh, wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Oh, okay, all I heard was beep. I'm like, okay, whatever. See,
right
that's
there.
someone else's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there.
It's either you or Al.
Mr. Mittman.
I don't think it was me. I don't think it was me. This was my phone and I didn't hear it, but I think I'm
Brilliant.
Oh
Is it?
boy, Al, you're taking trades without you knowing.
Yeah, I don't think
You
so.
doing that again? You doing that again, Al?
And then he doesn't speak up.
Right. Doesn't let us
just-
vote.
I pretend to be on my laptop and stay quiet for the day.
Yeah, see, pound is way at 0.
Way in the
Swiss
tank.
is way at the 7. So because the
Why is mine
pound,
not showing that? Mine's showing the opposite. Mine's showing
oh
the pound is 7.
Yeah, I've got 7 and a 0 on the pound.
wait,
the
do I got
pound's at
mine
0.
on wrong? No,
Probably.
pound's at 0.
Yeah, the pound's at 0 and the Swiss is at 7 on the 15-minute chart. Oh, actually, on the 1 hour chart is on that 15-minute
And
chart.
on the 30-minute,
So what's your MA length you guys are using?
200.
Why is mine at 14?
Should be 14. Should be
Oh.
14 minutes.
Not. Okay, so
I didn't.
So the pound is stronger.
Yeah, those should all be at 14.
Well, look at me. All right. That is an embarrassing thing. I will make sure I save that as default. Now, now that we saved it as default, it's not going to be at 200 anymore. I thought I had something on there wrong. Here, check this out. So now, if I take that off, and then I put this on, it's automatically 14. So we are only 5 minutes away from market open.
Why did you put it on Bitcoin?
Oh, it didn't matter. It's
Oh,
just because I
okay.
was looking at Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. I just thought you were trying to show a correlation between Bitcoin and the GBP and the Swiss somewhere.
Oh no.
That's where I'm like, wait a minute, where's he going with it? So
No, I'm just watching
right,
Bitcoin.
gotcha.
I've got some positions there. So
yeah,
Okay, so
Bitcoin's
yours is
crazy.
still opposite mine. What's yours at, Al? Where's your GBP on your RCS?
Where's my GBP on the RCS on the 15-minute?
The 15-minute. Let's use that one.
It is, I've got a 6 and a 0. 6 on the Swiss and 0 on the British.
So why have I got 7 on the British and 1 on the Swiss?
It just went to 7 and 0 for me on the 15.
yeah, I got 7-0. It's flipping. We got some stuff happening.
All right, so
So-
I got an issue, I guess, with my I don't know why. We'll have to figure it out later.
Just check your settings, make sure it's on 14.
It is on 14.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, hers were right. Mine were wrong for some reason.
Right now I've got a 5 and 0 on the 15, on the 5 minute I have 2 and 0, and a 5 and 2 on the 1 minute.
So if you guys don't have access to this tool here, put it in the chat, and we just need your TradingView ID. So your TradingView ID is going to be found here under profile. I'm not going to open that up, but that's pretty much what we need.
Strange. It's only one of my charts out of the many that I have open that it's like that. So I'm just going to shut that one down.
Maybe it's just acting weird.
Yeah.
Like my computer this morning.
Yeah.
I see we have some new people in the room today. Does anybody have any questions or something that may not be clear or comments that they'd like to ask? If you just put it in the question and answer box, and we'll see if we can address it.
For sure. That would be great. Always open to seeing what other people have as questions.
And we are friendly.
Sometimes. Depends how much coffee I've had. I want to see how accurate this is, the Forex screener. I've never used it. It's saying Aussie Swiss is a buy. And it's saying Aussie CAD is a strong buy. Well, this trades in, so I'm just gonna let it play out and see. If it does reach this line, I'm gonna add an alert to this line only once. And it's gonna give me a pop-up that says, hey, it's crossing this line, exit the trade. Because this is taking way too long to get down here.
And so as you see, that's the breadth of the market right now that we're looking at.
Yeah. Let's go see. What broker is this? You see this mess here?
Wow.
This is bad. This is a bad feed. I don't know whose this is, but let's go to Aussie CAD on a See, that's better. You don't want to be using a feed like this. I don't care what you're doing, but don't ever do this. This is gonna get you in trouble.
What broker was that, Matt? Can you tell?
IDC.
IDC. What's who's IDC?
I don't know.
Well,
I would say they're searching.
IDC.
I would say they're searching for stops.
Well, they're
Yeah.
That's why you can't play ball with sketchy brokers. Like, see, this is a good feed, you know? It's saying a strong buy, but I don't know. It says we're waiting for that setup. We'll just throw something together real quick, see if we can find something. So trend line here, right? Trend line. And then we can go.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
I'm at school, working a little bit, catching up with you guys.
Now has returned.
Yeah, no kids yet though, so that's
Well.
So what are your words of wisdom this morning there, Mr. Brian?
Yes, words of wisdom. Sir? Help us all.
It's been a rather range-bound day once we got started here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you expect it. You expect it. It doesn't surprise me. This is why I ran Gearbox starting last night, just to get some ghost trades behind. I figure I'll be in some trades later on today, but I figure this week will be kind of similar to the week before Christmas.
Yeah, people are still not, like, institutions are still not playing ball yet, right? They're just coming back.
No, bankers are going. A lot of the bankers will take the last week of the year and the first week off because they go on vacations when everybody else is back doing their normal thing. That's a lot of them, not all of them.
Actually, my Gearbox took a couple of trades yesterday.
It did. That means it didn't reset ghost trades.
No, I started a whole new. No, it should have. Yeah, it did because I started a whole new platform this week.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. I switched all over to my live account.
Right on.
You
I'm
had
just
some
moving.
gapping last night. I mean, you had some gaps from Friday to Sunday where price bounced. That could have triggered.
So it's saying a strong buy, and this is just the Forex screener tool. I've never used that before. Brian, did you ever use that? Just the Forex screener tool that's offered by TradingView?
So how's it work there, Matt?
I've never even noticed that before. So I went the Forex screener, and then I went over to Aussie CAD, and it said a strong buy. And I said, well, okay, let's go check if it's a strong buy, right? So here, I'm looking for a bounce here, and then maybe it'll be a strong buy.
But you're
right
not
now,
on the Aussie CAD chart. You're on Aussie US chart.
Oh, yes, that would help.
It.
Well, it's because I drew it on the on the Aussie CAD, but I actually clicked on Aussie US.
There you go.
Yeah, so they're very similar.
They are actually
very similar.
One thing to note that Steve Vetterall's report that he had on Saturday was mentioning to possibly avoid the New Zealand pairs because of the volatility and the uncertainty of the New Zealand dollar. So you may want to, I know he mentioned about taking the New Zealand off of some of his trading platforms for at least this week.
Even Dassault is taking New Zealand US off of his variable.
Yeah. So you may want to be cautious about if you get any alerts or anything left for New Zealand, you may want to just be aware of that. Doesn't mean not to trade it, just be aware that it may have some unexpected volatility to it.
Yeah.
This is the Aussie CAD. Let me see what that looks like on my RCS tool on that.
Let's see what's going on.
Aussie CAD. Looks like the Aussie's about the middle of the road. Aussie CAD, Aussie strong, Aussie. Is saying strength to the Aussie?
We are saying strength. Yeah, it's saying strength to the Aussie.
Yeah.
But right now,
I'm not seeing it off of our RCS tool.
I don't know. I'm just playing around, because we still got that position in. It's bouncing off of the 15-minute 62 right now, the pound Swiss. I'm going to go check this one real quick. What do we got here? So my trend line was no good. That's the challenge with these. When you go to the lower time frames, you need to keep on readjusting your trend lines because you can't have it split through the wick like that. If this one, let's drop this off because we already know where everything stands. Might have something here, but just sitting on it. Market open and there's like no movement. Oh no, sorry, not market open. Market opens in half an hour.
Another 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yeah. You're right. Look at that.
That trade's still hanging in there.
Yeah. Still there. It's a break even.
As you can see that, oftentimes, normally when you get that break, especially early in the morning like that, you'll get the break and usually you're in and out of the trades within 20, 30 minutes. Now that has been seeming to be taking a little bit longer here lately.
Yeah, at least the last 2 months, right, Al? The last 2 months, the end of the year.
Yeah, this has been going on for how long? Almost an hour, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm going to chalk it up to seasonality.
Yeah.
I think I've got paint that I can watch dry faster than this trade is going to be executed.
So just lots of patience. It's nice when you get fast-moving markets, but the problem that there is that the good news is they're fast-moving. You get in and out. The bad news is sometimes you get a little more volatility than you want, and you have to give a little bit more wiggle room sometimes because of it.
Yeah, the faster it moves, the bigger the stop loss you require to be able to play with it. You know, like like Bitcoin, for example, you're not looking for small moves with Bitcoin because of the cost to enter the trade. It's like 25 pips, right? That's your spread on Bitcoin generally. 25, 30, depending on your broker. This is.
I was looking at the Turkish US the other day, and it had a 70 pip spread on it.
Wow.
It had
Yeah.
how much?
70.
70 pip spread on it. And that wasn't just overnight. It was like during the daytime.
Wow.
Look who's not trading that. That's worse than Bitcoin.
See how much money Ripple lost, Matt?
It's back up to 1,000 now.
Ripple? No, it's not.
XRP. Sorry, wrong. I meant Ethereum.
Yeah, no, Ripple's down to 22 cents. It was up in the high 60s.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. I've been watching all the cryptos.
Well, one of the I think it was Bitcoin or Coinbase. I believe they took all the RXP and they closed it all out and moved everybody into something else.
Yeah, well, they're being sued by the what's the regulator in the U.S. The big one,
the SEC.
Yeah, the SEC has got a lawsuit or something against XRP. So a lot of people got really scared. So where was that big drop? Obviously, we're gonna have to go to maybe 4 hour and see that drop. Okay, yeah, there it is. So you're looking at November 20th, had a huge spike, and then all of a sudden this let me show you something. How about this? So people say that crypto is all fundamentals and it's not a technical analysis market, right? They say, oh yeah, well, it's all, remember, I'm doing this after the fact, okay? So it's not really as accurate, but you can see there's a nice little wedge here. Guess what happens with the wedge? You got that here, you draw your stick and you hit your target. So it doesn't actually matter what you're trading.
Nothing to see here, right?
Yeah, it could be anything. So this may not be. Well, maybe we'll go check tomorrow. We'll see what happens. It could either go up or from the break, it has a 75% chance to go here. So either it's going to go to this stick or that stick. It's probably going to go that way, but Because if it goes down, you're going to lose almost all of its value.
Looks like that's getting down to pretty much zero.
Yeah, it's zero. And with the amount of people that have been buying this up, I don't think it's going to go to zero. I think this is a beautiful buying opportunity, but I'm not talking about crypto. So let's move on from there. Because this is going to bring it down to zero, and I don't see that happening. I think it's a scare tactic to scare people away. Here's Bitcoin.
There has been a big move to the cryptos in the last couple of weeks. Especially.
Oh, it's been substantial. It's been
Ethereum
substantial.
really, really impressed me. It just flew up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But check.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it just broke its 2017 high. It pulled back quite a bit over the last couple of years, but it's now making this run up.
Yeah.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 bounce and then up. I'm curious to see something. And this is on a 4-hour chart, so I don't really play around with the 4-hour chart too much, but just trying to see if this makes sense. So where the realities of trend lines, if you draw them properly, they're pretty good, right? So you got resistance, 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 and then it becomes support, and then boom.
I think this is showing that these wedges work on not only Forex, but it works on futures, it works on just about stocks, it works on just about everything. It's all, because so much of the trading anymore is algorithmic based by the brokers, and they're just using the same basic, I mean, the numbers may be a little bit different, but the patterns still remain somewhat the same.
Oh, it doesn't. It really doesn't matter what you're looking at. This is Monero. This is another crypto a lot of people don't actually talk about or know anything about, but you know, like you can see the wedge. I don't even need to draw this thing, but it's not as clean as
that's the crypto that the federal government doesn't like. The IRS doesn't like it. The Federal Reserve doesn't like it.
Monero?
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people like it, because it's if the feds don't like it, then that means that people should.
I know what you mean. But see, like, you got your wedge, you got your break. See it again? Here, watch. So you got your wedge. Okay, we're going to get a wedge.
You can extend that all the way out to the other trend line that you have there, too.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Huh. So even if it's not 100%, right? Now we're stretching a little bit. Look at this. So don't want to make it too messy, but here, the whole point is this. You got here, your break, your wedge, your stick. So it's kind of like it knows what it's doing. What we're doing on the lower time frames works on absolutely everything. Any kind of crypto, any kind. Here, let's go see what the trade is like. What do we got here? Position open. So we're in the red. It came against us a little bit. And then I'll go have some fun with something else. Excuse me. Let's go to here. Oh, Aussie CAD. Okay, whatever. Let's not go Aussie CAD.
Looks like the Euro Yen. Looks like the Euro Yen could be a good one.
Oh, Euro Yen?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get off the 4-hour chart. Euro Yen.
Trade to the strength of the euro.
Okay, let's let's sort this out a little bit. Throw some. Oh, look at that! You might get a really nice bounce here. So we just got this here. We're kind of lining that up a little bit. Just throwing some trend lines around. Some of them will stick, some of them won't. First thing I do is try to find. See, I like this. I like that. It could go up to here. All right. Now, I like to draw a lot of trend lines, so it might. Here's that wedge, right? You got a wedge. And then you got your origination of your move to your break. And from your break, that wedge ends up right here at this trend line. So what are you saying, Al? Are you saying short?
I'm just saying that the euro was showing strength to the yen. Now this could be near the end of that move. It's been it's the euro strong on 4 different time frames.
Yeah.
But there again, it's just like you have to be careful when it starts getting to the top of a trend. You have to be looking, is it going to break that and come back and retest it to go up higher? Or is this going to be where you're going to get a head fake where it's going to break through the top and then just, if it's really range bound. And what I like to do is I like to draw, see what the overnight range is from the overnight high to the overnight low and see where you are in that scenario. So if you go back to like 3 o'clock in the morning for the British Open, or actually from where the Sunday, can you put your session breaks on?
Yeah. Where's the session breaks here? Settings?
There's settings and right there.
Session breaks.
Right there, yep. There you go. And I like to see what the session high and low was.
Yeah.
And use that and then basically draw a box and see where you are in reference to the percentage of the highs and lows of that box. And you can see right now we're getting right at the very overnight high of that of this range.
So are you saying like this?
Right.
Or are you going from?
I'm going from the pivot high from where the session break started, where the session started, go all the way back to where you have a trend. You have it right there, the top of the trend line, then to the bottom. That's basically the range it's been in from Sundays, from the Monday open. That's probably from Sunday night, I'm guessing. And
that's way back.
That's from Sunday night. So from Sunday night, when the market opened up on Sunday night to the low, that's the range. So basically, you can see it's trending inside the box, but the box is generally basically is showing you where the sideways range is. So the question is, will it stay within that box? And if it does, you want to be taking a short at the top 25% and long at the bottom 25% of the box. And then once it breaks out of the box, then you have a new trend starting. Right now, I think if it were to break out of the top of that, I'd be being very careful that you may have a head fake of about, you can maybe get from where it is right now, from the top of that trend line to the top of the box, how many pips do you have there?
Yeah, and you're looking at 20 pips for that.
So there'd be room to get your 5 or 7 pips on a breakout, but you'd have to be pretty much right spot on to wait for the break to come back, retest the trend line. But I would be looking at the top of that box being your target.
Yeah. Oh, our trade came back with the pound Swiss. So
Let's take a look at that euro yen on another chart here.
Euro yen.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to see.
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna go back to pound Swiss. Just real
you
quick.
do that, and I'm gonna take a look at that euro yen. I'll take a look at the euro yen.
Yeah. Let's do that. Divide and conquer, because I have to adjust that. I saw the lower wedge that I drew is invalid again, so I'll just. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm happy 2020 is over. Lots of lessons, lots of great things, but just looking and excited for 2021.
Yeah, me too. It was a bad year all around, I think, for the majority of us.
Yeah, I don't think too many. I haven't heard one person yet say it was a great banner year.
Well, there was, it was what it was.
Yep.
We have so little control over a lot of the things we worry about, and the only thing we really have control over is our reactions and what we do. So now we're going. All right. Now the market's going to open in about 6 minutes. Let's take it down a notch. Let's go to 5. I got a new mouse for Christmas. So
Ooh.
yeah, I was excited. It's a good mouse. Actually, a Logitech G502. It's one of those gaming ones, but it's very, very precise. And when you're doing these chart markups, you want a very precise mouse. And it's honestly, they're not that expensive. Like having the right equipment and the right gear is so paramount, I find.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, so at work I've got 2 monitors. And when I first started trading, I had 1 monitor, and I said, that is not happening. I am not using 1 monitor and my laptop screen. So went out and got 2 monitors, and now I have about 70 some inches of display that I can work with, and it just increases productivity significantly.
Yeah, visibility on the charts is critical.
Well, yeah, no, I can have multiple things open at the same time. I did have to upgrade my computer a little bit, but it's still holding in there, so it's good.
That's good.
For now. We'll see. We'll see how long it keeps on running. I've got so much stuff plugged into my laptop, it makes people laugh because you're not supposed to actually be able to do what I'm doing with just the laptop that I have. Usually you need a separate display connector. But
yeah, with the
works.
gaming laptops, you tend to have more abilities to do that.
Yeah, no, it's just because there's 2 display adapters on this one. There's the VGA, the blue kind of the old style plugin, and it's right beside the HDMI port. But my monitors, it can take both types. It's just that blue cable has like these little screw things on the side that you can screw in and screw out. But I just had to actually cut them off so that it fits next to the HDMI one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of jerry rigged a little bit, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so we're going down finally.
There you go. It's breaking.
And this is just about the session open in 2 minutes.
Yeah, the Euros. Yeah, and I would not want to be taking that long yet. I'd wait for a stronger pullback. It's coming up to some critical levels that I don't expect to bounce off of. So I think that would be one we'd pass on.
Oh, the one that was announced in the Forex screener? Oh no, the other one, sorry. I just want to see Aussie CAD. Oh, look at that. Now we're going.
Yeah, it looks like that one's starting to break down a little bit. Oops, I lost something here.
Sorry, guys. My little Elias is now awake, and the first thing he does is he runs downstairs and he's like, "Daddy, are you trading? Did you make 2 pips today?"
Just can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Now you can. Okay. Looks like your trade's starting to work out there, Matt.
It is. Here we go. Get ready. Oh, look, that Aussie CAD disappeared from the picture, but the setup was fine. I like the combination of using the Fibbo pivots, the FPRP, and the moving averages as a confirmation and the whatnot. So we'll see what happens.
And we're about 1 minute from market open, and I think we're going to 9:30 today, I believe, on Monday.
Yeah. Well, I think we can.
Well, actually, no. Actually, I take that back. I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we go till
10?
10 o'clock if we have something to show.
Okay.
Not on Wednesday. No, I don't think on Wednesdays anymore.
Oh, that's right. Wednesday is Wednesday is 9:30. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the later days, but we can go a little bit longer today. Yeah, Tuesday we're limited because of or Wednesdays when Susan has her session.
Yeah.
But we may come a little bit shorter this week just as there's not a lot going on right now.
No, and I think
we'll see if we start getting some IRIS alerts later on this week.
Yeah, it'd be great to see that.
We'll have to find out what's going on with that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this program to not take anything, not give any alerts during this time of the year, like the last 2, it looks like it was like it stopped 10 days before the end of the year. So I think the last 10 days, which is basically the last 2 weeks of trading sessions, it stopped giving alerts. And I think that's probably part of the built-in method of the IRIS. I don't know that for sure. That's what I suspect. It's making a little bit lower highs and a little higher lows right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it just doesn't want to go. That's a pretty big candle. you see there's a big difference when the market finally opens. You actually got some significantly bigger candles that are starting to play. So
a little more volatility.
Oh yeah. I like that wick though. I like that wick that it's leaving.
That's a strong rejection off that top trend line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that wick. Bitcoin's going back up. Just hit the 32,000 again.
Does anybody in the room have any questions or comments or anything they'd like to look at? If not, I think we'll go and wrap this thing up for the day and come back again tomorrow. Keep in mind that we're looking to start changing the times on this room from 7:30 to 9 o'clock. So it's probably not, we need to get authorization for it. So it may not happen this week, but keep an eye on your alerts for the trade room open for the new times. Right now, we'll still be going from 8 o'clock to 9:30. But at least that's looking to be changed. Maybe we can catch a few more people, maybe earlier trades. A lot of times we're getting a lot of these moves from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, and that'll get us in here a little bit earlier to maybe catch some of those moves a little bit more easily.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. I see that could work really well.
And on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up for the day. And,
yeah, I think we're good for now, Al. I think
if anybody's in that trade, we can watch. I think it's still going to be a good trade. Keep an eye on it if you're in it.
I still think it's going to go down, but it is what it is. It's taken its time, but now we finally got some movement.
And oftentimes, the more it goes sideways, the deeper the move will be. So this still looks like it's a good short. On that note, I'm going to sign off. Now, if you want to stay in here for longer, you're welcome to. But
I think we're all done for now. Okay. I'm satisfied with walking away from this. I'm going to leave the trade up. Everything's in place. I'm happy with letting it go and play out. The analysis was pretty spot on. It was good for me. So.
And we'll be able to find out tomorrow what happened.
Absolutely.
So, okay, on that note, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for coming in.
Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day.
We'll see you later.
See you later.
Thank you so much for coming.